Just wanted to talk, that's all.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Believe it or not, at the time we are doing this podcast live, we are just 19 days away from pitchers and catchers, which to me, it's like a holiday. It's like Christmas. 24 days away from full squad workouts and 28 days away from the first spring training game of the season. I'm probably not going to do a post game for the first spring training game because it's a weekday. But one lunar cycle, TK, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm so excited. It's been a long off season, a lot of changes to the roster. This is going to be a different Yankees team, but I've pretty much now said goodbye to the 2024 team, and I'm ready for the 2025 team.
I feel like some of these statistics that they're projecting are pretty spot on, and they're usually spot on with the win total, but there's a few of these are just kind of alarming to me. So, they don't really have a lot of guys taking a huge step forward. So we'll talk through all of these, but first, you're out there in LA, so I just wanted to acknowledge, like, you've been dealing with all the fires and stuff. How's everything out there? I haven't really had a chance to talk to you since it all started. Everything good?
Yeah, I mean, it's been scary. As far as where I live, I've been fine. The air quality's just been a little sketchy. I do know some people that were affected. A colleague of mine lost his home in Pacific Palisades, lost everything. I guess the scariest one for me was the Sunset Fire in the Hollywood Hills. From my apartment rooftop, about like a mile and a half off, you could see flames, and the visual of that was pretty apocalyptic, pretty scary looking, to be honest. Yeah.
That's rough, man. Well, I'm glad you're hanging in there. If you ever need to come back east, I'm sure a lot of these strange internet people that watch every episode dying to get you in their house on their couch for totally non-nefarious reasons. But let's go ahead and let's go through some of these stats here, because we're going to talk about Fangraphs. Every year they project the statistical numbers for everybody. And we'll do win-loss, standings, all that stuff another day, because there's still some free agents out there that I think could affect that. So I don't want to kind of, jump the shark a little bit on that and then have something change. But a lot of these individual numbers we can go ahead and start talking about. So I want to begin with the infielders. And for the people listening, there's a lot of stats on the screen. So this is one of those episodes where it's probably better. I highly recommend you watch in visual form on the YouTube channel. But let's go through some of these guys, just 30,000-foot view, some things that stand out to me. I thought for sure they would have Jazz Chisholm going 30-30 this year, but they have him getting 28 home runs and 34 stolen bases, so close, but no cigar. I think they're underestimating how much power is gonna jump, a full year at Yankee Stadium. Also, you mentioned something before the telecast, while we were in our green room, about Jazz Chisholm. What did you see from Jazz this week?
So Jazz was, I already graduated, but he was visiting my alma mater, Clemson University, spent a few days with the baseball program there. I think he was doing a collaboration with the brand Absolutely Ridiculous. That's like they make those like wild gloves with like the ice cream pattern on them and stuff. Like, It's pretty cool stuff. It's a little flashy for Yankees, I feel, but I think it's cool. I think it looks pretty cool. But yeah, that was pretty cool. He was spending time with the college guys and looked like a good time.
Justin is, offering you a doghouse in the backyard. You could get your own food and water, so that's good. So some other things here. Anthony Volpe, they actually have him kind of taking a step backwards in batting average, slightly upwards in power to 19 home runs, on base percentage slightly up. I'd much rather see him hit 270 with status quo power, but they're certainly not high on him. But they do have him getting a 4 wins above replacement, which is not bad. 101 WRC plus, and 309 WOBA, which is slightly below average, or roughly average. Austin Wells, I feel like they're kind of sleeping on him. They've got a 3.6 WAR, 231 average, 17 home runs. I think they're kind of light on all of those numbers. I think this is one of those areas, and Austin Wells is one of those guys where the statistical model, I think, falls a little bit short because of how he improves. He seems to make improvements quick, right? He seems to catch on. Like, he wasn't a great catcher. He's been putting in a ton of work on being a catcher. We saw him turn it on after a cold month last year where he was unlucky. And I think he's going to hit 250, 20 plus home runs. I really do. And then Paul Goldschmidt, 250, 24 home runs, 82 RBIs. Honestly, compared to what we've gotten out of first base the past couple of years, I would sign up for that right now. And then I've got Peraza and Cabrera on there. Neither one of them doing huge things. Oswaldo hitting 243, 10 home runs. Oswald Peraza hitting 238 home runs. Thoughts on all of these guys, TK?
I'm pretty much in lockstep about a couple things. Goldschmidt, if he gives you that, I'm totally fine with
Sign
that.
up. Sign up for right now.
100%. Totally sign up for that. Play solid defense. Give me 25 bombs. With Volpe, I would much rather see him sacrifice like 9 home runs for 30 more points on the average. I don't really like. I've said this last year. I don't really care if Volpe hits home runs or not. And I do agree with you. 28 home runs for Jazz. I do think he's going to be around that 25-30 range because obviously lefty swing, short porch. And I mean, dude, Jazz is not like a big guy, but he's really got this. He's got a really. He kind of like contorts his whole body, and he really gets everything out of the swing.
He's
You know?
explosive too, like athletically. Yes. Like those guys with the lightning power. He's kind of got like the Didi Gregorius, Alfonso Soriano body type, where he's like thin and strong, but with super fast hands and quick twitch muscles, things like that. I see someone in the chat not believing he's going to go 30-30. I think he's got a shot. I really do. He hit 24 home runs and had 40 stolen bases last year. So 6 more home runs, playing an extra 2.5 months at Yankee Stadium. Absolutely, I think he can do that. As far as Anthony Volpe goes, what would you project would be his numbers for the season? Like if you had to say, all right, average home runs, RBIs, kind of what would be your guess? I'm going to pull up his player page here.
Well, I will say, if Volpe, just left the graphic there, if Volpe puts up the Fangraph numbers that they're saying, I mean, I don't know about you, Derek, but we're going to have to start having a conversation about him being a disappointing prospect. I mean, This was a guy that we were holding on to because he was supposed to be, and I hate the whole like Derek Jeter talk. He's not Derek Jeter. All right. I mean, Derek Jeter is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like you can't just set those expectations like that. But I understand, he's grew up a Yankee fan from New Jersey, plays shortstop. There's a lot there, right? Grew up idolizing Jeter. But they're not the same kind of player at all as well, like their archetype of a player. But again, this is a guy who was like a top 5 prospect in baseball. They didn't trade him for Castillo, who was a top of the end starter at the time. I mean, he's still a very good pitcher. So we passed on Corey Seager, Trey Turner. That's also adding to this as well. So I'm really saying, like, if this guy goes out and hits 240 next year and he hits 19 home runs, like 19 home runs, that's nice. But I mean, I was being told that this guy was going to hit 285 at the top of the lineup, steal 40 bags, and play elite defense. That's what I was being told.
Yeah. So I think if he hits 265, 270, with 15 home runs and plays elite defense, that's a 4.5 to 5 WAR player. I'll sign up for that.
Yeah.
The first couple of months of the season last year, I feel like he was the guy. Like he had one of the best improvements I've ever seen season over season because he looked so lost as a rookie, especially at the end of the season. And then he comes in and, he's got 34 game on base streak. Now, part of that was probably hitting in front of Juan Soto too. So he's going to lose a little bit of that. But he came up and grabbed that leadoff spot, and then it just seemed to fall apart. And he always seemed to do a little bit better after he got some time off. So I've been advocating all winter, give him more time off. But also part of this has to be on Volpe. It's a 162 game season, man. You got to come in better shape. I mean, he doesn't look he's in bad shape, but like, Rocky IV, like climb the mountain this winter, right? Get up there, like, come in ready for 162 and assume you're not going to get breaks because the team is going to need you. So I think, there's room athletically for him to improve as well. And plus just going through the league again, getting more confident. He played in the World Series last year, so he's played in the maximum pressure situation so far. So, hopefully he'll improve a little bit. A couple other things. I didn't put DJ LeMahieu on here because I don't think he's going to affect the team really at all. I don't anticipate it, but they did have some projections for him. They were about what you'd expect. And there's still room that the Yankees could go out and get another infielder. There's been more talk in the last couple of days about Bregman. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Yankees are still kind of trying to be careful with money. Nobody's really spending out there. So I ultimately think Bregman might end up going back to Houston now. And then they might move Altuve to left field, move Isaac Paredes to second base. That's what Chandler Rome, who does Crush City Territory, who's an Astros insider, suspected could happen today on Foul Territory. So,
Oh
something to
no,
just keep in mind.
I believe the report. I think it's true. I think it's stupid. I don't know why
Yeah.
you would do that.
Yeah.
But one last thing about Volpe that I want to mention, though, he did have a good postseason, and I'm very happy with how he performed in the postseason for the most part.
Fair.
He had a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
big moments, so like just want to put that out there. Um, but yeah, I don't really see the Yankees getting Bregman. I don't want Bregman. I don't really think he fits. I don't think his swing fits well with the Yankee Stadium. His swing fits for Fenway and the Crawford boxes. That's pretty much it for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Probably.
Um,
There's no
yeah,
lefty. There's no Robin Ventura out there. You know what I mean?
no.
Like, that's what we really need. There's no Wade Boggs, one of these guys. All
The
right.
only
Let's
thing I
talk.
think they, I'm sorry, just last thing. The only
Sure.
thing I think they could spend money on right now immediately is a left-handed reliever. Tim Hill's kind of the obvious
Yeah.
option, but doesn't really seem
Yeah.
like they want to do that. They want to see what they'll do with Stroman first, I think.
They want to get under that $301 million
Yeah.
threshold and whatnot. Let's talk about the outfield here. There were a few things that I wanted to point out here. Obviously, Aaron Judge, 48 home runs, 272 average, 7.2 WAR. That's a 50-point drop in batting average, and drop of 10 in home runs. Major regression, but still insane numbers. But I think the Yankees, to get where they're wanting to go, need him to be basically what he was last year. And I see some people saying, "Oh, it's because Soto's not protecting him." That's not how protection works. Judge was protecting Soto. I could see Soto losing 10 home runs. I could see Soto losing some average, not having Judge behind him. But Judge, I think he's going to hit 300. I think he's going to hit 55 home runs at minimum. This is assuming he's healthy, which is far from a guarantee given his history and the fact that he's going to be in right field where he's going to have to contend with more tricky, foul territory type of walls, especially at Yankee Stadium. But I think 7.2 WAR feels a little light for me. Stanton, I think there's a chance they could be overestimating with 32 home runs. I predicted in my countdown show that he was going to get 35-ish or so, but I didn't feel super confident in it. I could see him getting 27, 28, spending a month on the IL like always. As long as he's here for the postseason, I couldn't care less if he underperforms these numbers. As long as he's there, as the Yankees are in the playoffs and he's in the lineup, sign me up. Bellinger, I also feel they're a little light on Bellinger. 254, 23 home runs. That would be kind of a disappointment. I think some of his earlier struggles with the Dodgers are baked into the cake here. But I'm betting he's closer to 280 than to 250 and closer to 30 home runs than to 20 home runs. And Dominguez, another guy. If the Yankees want to get where they want to go, he's got to do better than the numbers they're projecting. And that's asking a lot for a rookie. 2.5 WAR, 249 average, 20 home runs, 70 RBIs. Most of the time, you'd consider that a W for a rookie, a terrific rookie year. But I think the Yankees are going to need him to do better. I think they need him to hit 260, 270, 25 to 28 home runs, 30 plus stolen bases, and a WAR closer to 4. I know that's asking a lot. I also think he's capable of it. So your thoughts on these projections?
I think the starting outfield is all pretty light. Stanton to me is about right. Grisham, kind of whatever, bench
Yeah, who cares?
fourth outfielder. I think the Bellinger is a little bit light in the batting average. I think he'll hit for a higher average. I think Dominguez will also hit for a higher average. I think 20 home runs is about right. 20, 25 home runs for Dominguez is kind of what I was feeling. I think Judge is way light, and I think they've done this pretty much every time because the thing about Aaron Judge is the numbers that they just projected for him are like an MVP caliber season. And
Right.
Aaron Judge is having a prime that is kind of unprecedented. Like the dude is hitting 330 with 50 plus home runs. That's like absolutely bonkers video game numbers, right? So I just don't think they're going into it like they're like, that's not possible. He can't do it a third time in a row. He can't do it for a third time. I'm like, yeah, he can. I honestly think he will hit 300 and he will probably hit 50 home runs.
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
it's kind of a lock, actually. Because when he gets hot, man, when Aaron Judge is hot, it's scary. I don't think there's a guy in the league that is better than him offensively when he is hot. Shohei, throw all those guys in there. Shohei, Acuna, I don't care. When Aaron Judge is hot, he is the best baseball player on the planet.
Right. We need him to be hot for the playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be one cloud that hangs over him all season long, and that is, will he get it done when it matters? Now, obviously, 350 plus home run season, 6-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger, Yankees captain, biggest contract in Yankees history, but don't mean a thing if you don't get the ring, and we need him to pick up that ring. And to get it, it's not one of those things where the rest of the team is going to carry him. There's no Soto this year. Nobody's going to carry the Yankees to the World Series other than Aaron Judge. He has got to do it. And look, I just feel like he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder this year. I'm expecting big things. To me, 48 home runs is just way too light. I'll put the projections back up. But
Dude, Maben was saying the same thing, right? Aaron
yeah,
Judge revenge tour when he had him on. So
yeah.
yeah.
Let's talk Dominguez. What are your thoughts on Jason?
Jason, yeah, I think 249 is low. I think 20 home runs is about right. 20, like I said, 20 and 25 home runs, but I do think he's going to hit closer to 260 or even 270 if he has a really good season. I do think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. Um, I mean, what would be the other candidates this year? I don't know. I'm not going to get into that, but I do think he'll win Rookie of the Year. I think 20 to 25 home runs is about right, but I'm thinking more like 270 on the
Yeah,
average. And they're going to need that if they, like you said, want to get to where they want to go. Jason's going to have to step up, which is a lot asking for a lot for a rookie. But this is a guy whose nickname is the Martian, who's been like the phenom prospect since he was
right.
16 years old. Like he was in the major leagues as like a 20-year-old, like nuking pitches. So I
Yeah,
really don't think the moment is going to be too big for him, to be honest.
I agree with you. Look, I see some people in the chat saying if he plays a full season, he's 100% going 30-30. I think he's got the talent. I think 100% he's going to go 30-30 at some point. I don't think you can guarantee that. But, I mean, this is a guy who hit over 300 in the minors last year, coming back from an injury. He's got the hit tool. I think to hit that 270, 280 like we would hope, I think he's got to get a lot better from the right side. I heard, and I mentioned this a couple times on the podcast already, Susan Waldman talked to him this winter. She actually spoke with him. I think it was at some event or, I don't know if it was a project or whatever. But she said that, like, he basically said he's been working on two things overwhelmingly this year, this winter, hitting from the right side and defense. And that's exactly what I wanted to hear. Turn those weaknesses into strengths.
Oh yeah, 100%. I still don't know if they're going to have him in left or in center. Me, myself, I'd rather have him in center with
Agree.
Bellinger in left. I don't think they're going to do that. They're probably going to have that flipped around. I think that's kind of silly just because, again, Jason is supposed to be like your future, your long-term plan. So you kind
Yeah.
of want him to grow into that center field role instead of having him go to left and then Bellinger's here for like a year or two. And let's say they don't re-sign him and then you're putting him back in center. I just think it's weird. And I think it's a
Yeah.
lot. Just put him in center and keep him there. Left field is big enough. Bellinger can handle it and he'll be a great left fielder.
All right, let's talk about the rotation. Got a little hair on my tongue. Might need you to take over in a second.
Yeah.
That's what cats,
Go
having
ahead.
cats, man, having cats. So Garrett Cole, they got 3.93 ERA, so that would obviously be a slight step back for him, but that's expected, as he ages. I think he's going to continue to regress a little bit. 197 strikeouts, still got him leading the staff. Max Fried's first year with the Yankees, 3.36 ERA. I think if he makes 29 starts with a 3.36 ERA, Yanks are in good shape. Luis Gil, I think they're off here. They've got him with a 4.19 ERA, so they've got him regressing a little bit. 179 strikeouts. I do like the 25.7% strikeout rate, but again, I think that he had an ERA around 3 almost all last season. It was really the last game of the season that he got hammered that pushed it up to 3.50. I think he's a 3 ERA guy. I really do. I think he's going to win 15 games again. Carlos Rodon, I think they're overestimating him a little bit. They've got him with a 27.2% strikeout percentage. I think that's going to continue to drop as he loses a little bit more off that fastball every year as the back condition gets a little bit worse every year with age. That's just going to happen. Although I saw some pictures of him on Instagram, he does look like he's continued to trim down and get stronger and get more fit, just like me. And then Clark Schmidt, I think they're kind of light on him. They've got a 3.92 ERA. Last year it was about 2.5. I understand he missed some time and didn't pitch a full season, but he was lights out when he was out there for the first part of the year. So I think 3 ERA for him, pretty much the worst he'll do. So thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, Luis Hill, they got him in a sophomore slump. I think 4.19 is way high.
Yep.
I'm totally in agreement with you. I think a low threes, maybe even a high twos if he goes off to a really hot start. He's got ace potential. His problem is command. They have him at an almost 11% walk rate. I'm rounding up there, so that's obviously way too high for a starting pitcher. If that's going to be the case, if that's what he does, I think that as he ages, as he learns, and also you gotta think about it this way, right? He's a young, impressionable pitcher. There's value in being around guys that have done it with a high success rate in the league. Cole, now Fried, even Rodon's had a lot of success in the league in the past. So just being around those guys, I think, is valuable. Just to learn. Matt Blake, good pitching coach. I don't see a 4.19 ERA. I think that's way too high. I do think Luis Hill will just kind of pick up where he left off and just continue to be
Yep.
good. I think now he's pitched a full season pretty much too, so I have a little bit more confidence there with stretching him out. And hopefully, if he gets the command down, dude, we're talking top five in the league.
Yeah. My one thing with Luis Hill, I think he's going to have a more evenly like paced season. I don't see him having the, lights out first 2 months like he had this year. I think it will be more, the league's seen him once. It'll be more him having to make adjustments, the league making adjustments, like a normal pitcher where you rattle off 2 or 3 good starts, maybe have one that's not so good, but maybe you don't get bombed, right? I think that he can probably win 15 games, 3 ERA, but it's going to be a lot, I don't see the stretch where he's 11-1 with a 1.8 like he had last year or whatever it was. So just because he's, the league's seen him. So that's where we're at. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bullpen. Now, the bullpen, again, ERA's a little bit higher than you would like to see. I think they will do better than this. They got Luke Weaver at 3.68. I think he's a lock for 2 something. Devin Williams at 3.20. Again, he was a sub 2. He's projected as the best relief pitcher in baseball by the Shredder, but they also had Bobby Witt Jr. as the 4th best shortstop. I think Witt's the best shortstop. Jake Cousins, 3.79. You got Ian Hamilton, 3.47, and Fernando Cruz at 3.30. I think if you get 3.3 out of Fernando Cruz with a 31, almost 32% strikeout percentage, damn, I think I'll sign up for that in a second. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think they're pretty light again on the bullpen. It seems like they're kind of underestimating the pitching performances. I think as a whole
Right.
overall. But yeah, I think Weaver. I mean, dude, that's nutsack. What are you talking about? 3.6. You know, like, come on, that's Randy. That's Randy right there with the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
3.68, I think, is way too high. Again, Devin Williams. That's literally one of the best closers in the game. He's been for his entire career.
I got
Yeah,
I
what's
got
up?
something to, I got something to say about their projection, and this is just a little shout out to my man Bob.
Just a bit outside.
Just
Yeah,
a bit outside.
yeah.
Rest in peace to Bob Euchre.
Rest in peace, man. But yeah, I think they're a bit kind of off there. Devin Williams is literally top 3 closer in the game, lock.
Yeah.
Arguably number 1. I don't see an ERA with the number 3 as the first number for him.
Right. I agree.
Fernando Cruz, I think that's probably about right. Jake Cousins maybe a little off, but just about right. But Weaver and Williams to me are kind of the most egregious. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, that's way off.
I agree with you. I agree with it. So I know I said we wouldn't do this, but like win total for the year, like right now, what are you thinking for the Yankees? Just we won't lock you in on this, and don't bet your life savings on this, people watching, because there's still time for things to change over the next several weeks. But let's just throw out a couple of numbers here. I'll let you go
Yeah.
first. Where are you at
Well,
right now?
this is with what they currently have on the roster. I don't know if there's another move coming before spring training. Let's just have that caveat. But as presently constituted right now, I want to say 95 wins.
I'm going to go light. I'm going to say 91. I'm going to say about 91. I think the pitching is better, but their offense has taken a step back without Soto. Soto had an 8 WAR last year. I mean, it's going to be very difficult to replace.
Mhm.
And until we see Dominguez do it in the regular season, until we see Volpe take that next step, Wells take that next step, I can't say they're better than last year. I've got to see it. Although to be fair, a lot of our losses last year were because of Clay frickin' Holmes, 13
Yep.
blown saves or whatever
I
it
was
was.
just going to say that.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Take it away.
Right
Take
there.
it away.
I was just going to say that if Clay Holmes didn't blow those saves, the Yankees probably have a better record than the Dodgers, and you got 4 games at Yankee Stadium. So I
Yeah.
was literally just gonna say that the difference this year is that you got Devin Williams, top three closer in the game. That projection to me is just wrong. They're gonna lose some tough games. That it's baseball, Susan, but I think 95 wins is fair. Replacing Soto will be really difficult, but I think that their lineup is more well rounded now. The lineup last year, although the top of the lineup was amazing with Judge and Soto. It was very top heavy as well. Like once you got outside of them, it started to drop off pretty quickly. But yeah, you're going to need the young guys to perform, to step up. But I think 95 is fair. We'll see what they do at the deadline. We'll see if there's any more moves to come before spring training starts. But I think that's like a very, very reasonable number to ask.
Yep.
And then there are some teams in terms of like threats in the American League, because the American League is weaker than the National League at the moment. But to me, dude, like there are a couple teams where no one's really talking about them, and I'm like, they might be a little something something.
I think Guardians are going to be difficult once again, and they
Yeah,
just added Paul Sewald to that bullpen, which is always tough. You know, I could see the Astros, if they get Bregman, just being really, really difficult again, like bringing him back,
yeah,
we'll see.
they're always going to be there.
The Red Sox taking a step forward. I think
To me, that was going to be the pick.
Yeah, the Orioles
really got
the Orioles lost Burns, but they've got some younger guys. Like they got Colby Mayo, I think, who's Jason Dominguez's biggest, I guess, competition for the Rookie of the Year award. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. Terrence, we're gonna say goodbye to Terrence. Terrence, appreciate it. We're gonna go take some voicemails now, but stay safe out there in
man.
California, and we'll see you on again here soon. Hopefully, with some news that the Yankees got another bat. We'll see. But TK,
Hopefully.
we'll catch you next time. All right, let's
See you
get to
guys.
your voicemails here. We got a couple of calls. Let's start with Cashman and the Dodgers here.
Yeah, hey, Derek. Steve calling from Farmington again. Derek, what is going on with Cashman? The Dodgers are piling up all-stars or near all-stars, and he's still looking at guys with high velocity in the bullpen with a 5.5 earned run average, hitters who are very versatile, but they can only hit 180. Bring back John Birdie. I know he had so many injuries last year, but he was the kind of player we
signed with the
needed.
Cubs.
And how do we miss out on Iglesias? You know, Cashman is resting on his laurels right now because he did a little bit better than we expected, but he's not doing well enough.
I appreciate the call. There's a couple of things that I just wanted to fire back at you. Allow me to retort. I don't think Jose Iglesias is the difference between the Yankees and the Dodgers right now, right? What the Dodgers are doing is crazy. I mean, they got like $370, $380 million payroll or whatever. They're able to do that because they made smart investments. There's a reason why the Yankees wanted Shohei back in the day. It didn't get him. But they basically own the Japanese market now. They're getting all that influx of money from Japan, and they're spending it. You know, the Yankees have the money. They could go to that level. They do have insane revenues as a worldwide brand. But I just don't know that there's the players out there that Cashman could go pick up that would make the difference right now to get them to where you look at those two teams and you say, well, the Yankees are better than the Dodgers. I just don't think that can happen this year. I just don't think that there's those players available. Do I think the Yankees could beat the Dodgers in a series? Absolutely, but they're going to need some breaks because the Dodgers are a better team. So, we'll see. I'm not going to kill Cashman. He had a good winter this year. I don't know if there's much else he could have done other than getting another infielder.
What's going on, Derek? Really appreciate the content you've been pumping out during the off season here.
By the way, 3-minute
quality
voicemail.
content and the collaboration with Foul Territory has been amazing for your channel and just for you in general, and it's been great. Something I just wanted to touch on really quickly regarding the Yankees. First of all, I do hope they make that last infield move, but I absolutely love the off season they've had. They got a top tier starter, maybe a slight overpay, but at the end of the day, they're the Yankees. They can handle it. If that's what it took to get it done, then it was worth the slight overpay. I think the Goldschmidt contract is a hidden gem. I think even if he underperforms and has a year similar to last year, he's pretty much guaranteeing you.
Okay, so the audio's cutting out.
Probably 20 home runs at least with a 730-ish.
All right, so I'm sorry. I should have listened to that more carefully. Maybe next time, don't call from underwater. But yeah, Goldschmidt. I could see him being a solid pickup. I like the steady force professional hitter, good defender. I believe in Paul Goldschmidt much more now than I did when the Yankees got him. So the more I look into it, I think that might be one where the Yankees hit. But again, fighting Father Time, and Father Time is undefeated. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the show. Reminder to like, subscribe, all that stuff. Only a few more weeks until baseball season. So, I've been kind of slow with the podcast because there hasn't been a lot happening over the last several weeks. But, let me know what topics you guys want to talk about. We do have to fill some podcast hours between now and the start of the season. So let me know what you guys want, whether it's voicemail shows, countdown shows, behind the scenes stuff. I could do a studio tour, whatever you guys want, and we'll get it rocking. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. Hey, while I've got you here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Pinstripe Territory is the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We are home to the #1 most watched MLB postgame show on YouTube since 2021. We're here after every Yankees game and for reactions to all the best news and rumors during the offseason. Be a part of the show by calling into the voicemail 718-899-1068. Try to keep it clean for me. And if you ever miss us on YouTube, be sure and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. It'll help other people find the show. Thanks for watching. See ya.